right, let's kick things off. Like all of these siege games, things kind of start off slowly, which is nice because you get to get a feel for the mechanisms in the game before you have to really worry about, geez, are you screwing up the game totally on the first turn? So, you do have to kind of put a little thought into, how many cav to throw here and how many troops to put in your covering boxes. And damn, I still don't know anything that happens if you fail at the covering box. I'll look that up again. But like I said, I think if you somehow lose an entire covering box, you should have lost the game. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything here. Yep. Actually, here's the effect. If the French sortie, if there's a French sortie phase, which there always is, if a covering box has no infantry in it, the French get 8 rounds of siege ammunition. So that's a little different. Also, if Allied casualties are above 12,000 more than the French, the Allies will be booted from the game. I guess I haven't penciled in all the errata on this one yet. I usually do that. All right. So basically we can skip ahead through the planning stuff. There's nothing exciting happening here. We're not in an attrition phase or one of the special turns. So we go to the siege construction. We're not planning an assault, obviously. And now we have to do what we have. We had 30 of these, so we're going to get 10 points there. And figure out what dice I want to use for this, but we'll use these for now. This leader, 1 through 4, gives me 4. Yep. And this guy, 1 through 3, will give me 3. Nope. So I got 14 points to blow. That means I can build 7 parallels. I have to start off this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and since I had more points over here, I'll balance it out here. That's not really necessary. And I've got all my low quality units out here. They're all digging. That's not too big a deal. Those will flip over next turn. But it just indicates I can't use these. These trenches are being dug right now. And that's all we do for the first turn, right? There's not an assault, the operational. I could shift around my French. They're pretty happy. I could have sortied, but because the Allied army is in force in all the boxes, I'm not going to do that. You might be able to convince me this is the time to do it. Generally, I think when I've played, I had a really hard time doing a sortie. But right now, the French have tons and tons of ammo. And there's going to be a lot of the game where I'm not really threatened. Remember, 500 will get me to the bastions at this point, once I build this trench line. But I have to keep garrisons in all these trench lines because they're the front line. So there's a fair amount of troops that have to go there in the early part of the game. I didn't really go into the rules about when you can extend a bastion, etc. It's like when you have 6 parallels in a row in one line, you're allowed to extend up and draw new lines from them. There's a lot of mechanical type stuff there that we just have to worry about, and it'll come up as we do. But that's the first turn. Okay, so here we're starting the second turn, and we have to be careful. There's nothing I really have to do about this. I was going to say we have to be careful because Vendôme's intervention comes up very soon. There's not much can be done. The Ally army strips from the field works, from the siege in general, leaves the map for a certain amount of time. That may make it hard to say generate, production, have troops here, and keep the covering boxes filled. It may be necessary to say give the result of the covering boxes, which is what? It looks like just 8 rounds of ammunition. If there's any entry, if you don't cover all the boxes, the French get some additional ammunition. Now, they start out with quite a bit, 75 heavy artillery ones, and then some mortar ammo. You don't want to take the mortar ammo because it's just not as worthwhile. 11 rounds of mortar. The mortar has a shorter range. And remember, you're not restricted in how many times you fire it in a turn, so you can just blast away with your artillery when the enemy gets closer. Okay. So running through the thing, nothing happens really. I'm not going to fire any artillery. I go to siege construction. First thing that happens is all these flip up. Now, I may need some more units. I may not. I want to make sure that I have at least 5, 7. Yeah. I didn't get my full allotment, so I'm going to pull some additional units off the board and put them behind the start line. I should have done that a little earlier. Right? No. I got to do that. And in fact, I wasn't allowed to. Yeah, I have to do that towards the end of this. So, if I end up getting both of these guys, I may end up not having the ability to build everything it claims I can build. Alright, well, such is. Let's see what we got here. We've got our 10 points for the Cav, and that's the most you can get. And then 1 to 4 for him. I get 4 more. And 1 to 3 over here. Yeah, 3 more. So I should have had more troops. I mean, there's no reason to have this many guys in the covering boxes, but oh well. So I'm going to get to build 8 more things if I had that many people, but I only have 7 people. I've got to keep these others garrisoned, that's the problem. And next turn is going to be more painful. Because next turn, I'm going to have a bunch of my troops head off to deal with Vendôme. So, obviously I didn't do anything exciting with the French. And operational movement, I need to move some troops on. So I'm going to pull some troops for the start line. Maybe not too many. We'll throw a few more out into place, and we just push forward, and we gotta worry about this because this next turn something special happens. Okay, turn 3 is the Vendôme intervention, and all we do here is the first thing in the turn So we're going to first roll on column 1. We get a 5. That's going to be historical results. So I have to take 72 squadrons of cavalry and 26 battalions of infantry. Now, that doesn't sound... I don't have 72 of these markers, so I'm guessing that they mean strength points of cavalry, because nothing else really makes sense. Yeah, that's number of squadrons. And each infantry unit's going to be a battalion. So I got to get 72 points of the cav, which is going to really eat into this. And then 26 points, 26 infantry units. Now I may take some of these out because once I see how little of this I have, I'll be able to better judge how much construction I can do during this. Okay, I think I also have to dispatch Marlborough for this. Now that's my force, not the lighter or the pipe or anything, that I'm without. I also noticed another thing. There's another covering box I had not noticed before. So I've got 4 covering boxes. I've already stripped these units from here. I didn't know what was happening. So these forces are going to split up amongst the covering boxes. What I was thinking to myself was, well, I don't want to cover the covering boxes. Now the question is how much I want to actually cover them, because I could withdraw completely from some covering boxes, give the 8 ammo points, and keep forces that are big enough, because my worry here is if the French sortie, they can probably take about half their units off the board. I don't have much here. They might be able to take more than half their units off the board for a sortie and just smash my sortie box, my covering boxes. So 26 plus 14 is 40. I'm going to say there were about 10 units in each box. That means I'm not going to be able to shift out of all the boxes, although maybe I could withdraw more forces over to Marlborough to protect a box, because I don't think I can defend 4 covering boxes with 14 strength points. And if I can't defend 4, well, no reason to defend any, because then the 8 ammo gets through no matter what. And all I'm doing is opening up a location where the French could go smash and beat up some of my troops. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to withdraw the entirety of the army, the covering army, to face Vendôme. And that's important because, well, it'll give the strength points, but it'll also say, and the rules don't say that I can do this, but what the hell. It protects me from losing some units to a French sortie. And when we go from there, we're not going to see any fire happen here. We get our construction points. I don't remember what I had here. 1, 2. Yeah, I bet you this is per squadron, so my 30 was a bad number anyway. Shit. The rules to this one are not fantastic. So I get my points for every 3 cav squadrons. That's number here. So I got this wrong. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I thought I was at 18. Yeah, maybe I was counting points there. No, because there's like 72. I don't know. Anyway, that gives me a grand total of 6 points. And now I get my die rolls. And yes, my digging is less advanced than it should be. But I don't want to start all over, do I? Jesus. You know, I think I should start the game over because this digging should be more advanced. Okay, so I'm going to load this up as a failed attempt, which I often do when something gets this bad, and just start the game all over.